back to my channel, everyone. If you're new, thank you for joining me. If you've come back again, thank you for coming back. What I'm going to do today, one of the things I'm doing today is this plate, but it's got this really pretty edge on it. Now I want to colour that in a chameleon and then pour black. But I can't do that with just the powder because when I flick it back, it will go everywhere. So I'm going to turn the mould inside out and hopefully not take too long to do it because it will stretch the mould. I put a little bit of the chameleon powder in here and I hope I'm going to have enough. Then I'm going to make a paint out of it by pouring in some alcohol. Mix it around so it's all a liquid and it becomes like a paint. Now I'm hoping that is going to be enough. If not, I will have to add more. Yep, that's not going to be enough. I may have to change because I don't have much of this. They don't give you very much in these packets. Just the littlest bit. It won't matter if I don't use it all because you let it dry out and it turns back to the mica powder. Let's see how that goes. No, see, that's not going to. Okay, that's not going to work. Well, you learn. So I will wait for that now to turn back to powder and I will choose something else. That is not going to stick. It could be, I've seen this done before. It could just be that there's too much liquid there, but I'm going to clean this off. Choose a different colour. And then have to clean up the mess. So what colour will I choose? These are 3 new ones. I'll go for that one. And look, I think that's a chameleon colour shift. Let's try that one. Let's see. Just got that everywhere. Let's see if this helps. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, I need a bigger brush than that, otherwise we'll be here all day. I'm going to put that down there. That is a new frame I bought. Oh, that's pretty. And it is colour shift. So I'm just going to paint that and dust it. That is so pretty. Got a sort of a pinky orange colour shift to it. It's the prettiest pink. It's like a fuchsia. See, I'm going to have to clean all of that up, but that's okay. If you go around in circles too, you don't get those streaky marks when you're putting on the powder. So it's quite a tight mould to have such a pattern on it, but we'll see how it goes. Got to push those little corners out or they're going to be black when you turn it over. Pretty. Just make sure you've got it all in there. See, that one's not there. Right in there, check right around. I've got a bigger, fluffier brush, bigger areas. Okay, so now, dust it off. I'm getting a big brush. Like this, I'm just going to take it over to the bin and brush off the excess. Working fairly quickly because I don't want this mould inside out for too long. Give it a bit of heat. I am going to clean this up. I've just put new paper down. You wouldn't think so. Just put it down. Oh well, here's a work area. All right, get my switching sponge to get that off there. Wipe my hands off. Otherwise that's going to transfer onto the other moulds. I don't want that. So now I'm going to take a baby wipe and spray some alcohol ink on the baby wipe. Hopefully not take off any of this colour, but I'm just going to go around now. Tuck it right in so you don't get it. It'll just, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to flip it in, and I'll probably have to do this again. But this will get the majority of it off, I hope. Because I don't want these splotches of colour when I pour the black in. Take it right in as far as you can go. As I said, it's quite a tight mould. It'll be very pretty though when it's finished. This may end up staining my mould. This colour, pinks usually do. I can see some stains. As long as, I don't mind if they're stained because the stains won't come out in the black, but if it's extra powder, it will. Okay. About as close as I'm going to get it, I think. So, here we go. Trying not to touch the dusting. Okay. So, that is on the outside. Yes, it's on the outside, that's good. It's on the outside. And that's on the outside. Now, you can see where it's touched there inside. It's going to leave a shadow. I don't know how I'm going to get that out. I think that every time, because it is such a thin mold, I think every time I clean that off, even if I go in like this, I think it's still going to come back and land there. We'll see if I'm gentle with it. It may not. Let's see how it goes. Just get that in there like that. And I'm just very, very gently putting that back down. I'm not flicking it down. Seems to be okay. Now don't move it, Pam. All right, now I can see in taking that off on the base that a little bit has come off here. There's no way I can get that back on without getting it back on here. So I'm just going to call it quits. And, sorry about that. And hopefully it won't look too bad. That's a very pretty pink that came in a set of 3 from Temu. I like that. So we're just going to leave that, and I'm going to pour black into that. Leave that there. And the other thing is, I can't spray. I'm going to try and spray in there because of the bubbles. It's going to be interesting to see how this one comes out. I may never use it again, but we'll try. I'll push that to one side. Now, the next one is this very interesting frame. The frame itself is this shape. These, I'll make sure I don't have any powder on. These two go together. You put the picture in here, put that together like that, and then that sits in there like that. So, and it's very thin, very thin. So these two I will do in clear, obviously, otherwise you can't see the picture. Just get that powder off there. This one I thought I might do in the chameleon glitter. Thought that might look nice. I'll just get this off here. It's on the outside, I think. So I'll move this one to one side. Bring this one down and flip it over. Bring this down here and bring this down. That over there. I have no idea how much any of this holds because I haven't used them before. This is the first time I'm using them. They only arrived the other day. I just want to clean this in case any of this comes off. Oh, that's okay, that'll do. I'm going to hazard a guess and say, I'm going to say about 200 mils, I think. So another 50 to 50. If I do 400, if I don't have enough, I can always make more up. But I'll go for 400. Because this is not too deep, I'm going to go for, I'm going to use the Platinum New Ultra Clear. I know it can go a little bit deeper. So for 400, I will be using, I might go 430 actually. I'll do 130 part B and 300 of part A. So I'll get my jug for that. That's 4, I'll get a bigger jug. I will mix up the resin and I'll come back to you. I'll just put you on pause. So that was fun. I did all of this work thinking that I was recording, but I wasn't. So I will explain to you what I did and chalk it up to experience. The first thing I did with this was I dusted the inside of this underneath because this is where the pattern is. And I cleaned up as much as I could because that was turned inside out. Then when I turned it back in, as I knew it would, the excess powder, even though I dusted off a lot of the excess powder, it still dusted down onto the base, onto this part inside here. So very, very carefully I lifted each section and got my finger with a wet wipe and a bit of alcohol ink, and I went around and I wiped this part and did the best I could there, and then I very, very gingerly put it down so that it didn't knock any more dust off. After that I made up the black and poured it in. I didn't want there to be any bubbles in it, and I haven't used this mold before, so I wasn't sure. So what I did was I just took my finger and I rolled from the edge like this, very gently up. I also lifted it and sprayed in underneath without trying to disturb the powder too much. Then I just let it set. I got out as many bubbles as I could. I think there's a couple of micro bubbles there. We'll see when I demold. We'll see what it looks like. It's been overnight, still a bit bendy because it is so cold here at the moment in Queensland, but it's also very thin, and thin resin always takes longer to cure. This one should be ready to demold. It was quite simple. I used the glitter in clear, this holographic pretty glitter, and I put about 3 or 4 drops of the clear into it because I had quite a bit of resin. I had enough to do this, and I left over some leftover to do a bath in. I'll show you the bath on another video. But I put some of this in. This thickens the glitter, the whole resin up so that the glitter stays suspended. You can see there how it has stayed suspended. It hasn't dropped all the way down here. So that one's ready to undergo, and then I just poured it in very slowly and sprayed it on the top. Ran one of these around. Where is it? And a dotting tool. I've got one that's got a long dotting tool on it, and I just ran that around very slowly so that it didn't overflow. Because it's thick, it was overflowing. Let that set. These are the 2 clear parts to put the photo between, but you can see they're still a little bendy. I'll still unmold them. That's where we're up to. I'm so sorry that it did not video. I was really upset with myself. I don't know whether it was me or the phone or an update, even though I kept checking. But anyway, we're going to unmold and move on. I don't know what this is going to be like. I don't know how hard it is to unmold. I don't know if it's going to bend out of shape, but we'll try, because it is still very bendy. And don't do what I do and cut yourself. Just be really careful. This is not very stretchy silicone. I've got a feeling maybe I should leave this one. But I do want to get it out and have a look. I'll have to take it over here. Sorry, I've got to take it over here to get it and be very quick because it is bendy. Very quickly do that so I can reshape it. Okay, get that back. You can see how tight it is. And then just fix that. It is quite a flat dish. Looks very pretty on that side. It's a pity that isn't that way. So it's black. Black with the purple edges. And as somebody said, you always find the faults in the mould and the difficulties with the mould when you use it for the first time. So you can see here where I've gone through and wiped it. I've wiped some of the purple off, or the chameleon, but that's okay. I'll let that cure properly. It'll probably take another 24 hours. You can see where I've missed taking off some of these. I don't know whether I would dust it with chameleon. It looks great, but it's a lot of effort. It might be better just to pour this part in one colour, let it set, and then pour the rest. I'll have to trim this up, but that's going to have to set, otherwise it's going to go out of shape. Not a bad little plate. This one is going to be interesting to see how it all sets up. Just go around and loosen it. Oh, it's not too bad. Okay. Right. Unusual mould. Just put it back. So, and this definitely needs trimming. It's got a very sharp edge. I didn't dome this. Next time I will, but having used it for the first time I wasn't sure, so I'm going to have to take the edge off here and here because that will cut, and that will be the back anyway. That's the front. That's a very pretty resin, very pretty glitter, and because of the glue in there, it stayed. It didn't drop all the way down. So with these, you apparently have no idea what I'm doing with this because I haven't used it before. A little bit of overflow there, but it's soft so I can cut that off. Lay that flat. Pull that off. Now apparently, and that would have to be cleaned, I should be using gloves, but you can see there's a bit of marking there with my fingers. But apparently put the photo there because it's got the little lug. You put that on there and there, so the one lug fits here and one lug fits there. photo goes between. This is still a bit soft, so I don't want to actually push it in. So the photo goes between, and then it sits here, sits in there, and like that. Ah, that's why. See how it's still bendy. So it sits there and there somehow. Unless it's like that. I'll have to look at that. Oh, like that. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. It's once it's all stiff, it goes like that and just sits in there. Unusual. I'll have to wait. Have to wait for that to set up properly. Make sure that that's setting at the right angle, and just leave it be to set completely. Pull this apart so they don't stay together. Put that down there, and put that down there. So that's it until I put it together. Thanks for watching. I forgot to show you these other things that I finished off. Sorry about that. So I made the little heart and put diamonds around all of it. Oh, not diamonds, rhinestones. So that's a little trinket tray. I poured some of the extra black into this mould, which can be a pendant. I would think it'd be a very big pendant, but I turned it into a keychain and put a couple of little charms on that. My daughter-in-law wants that one. These were the ones where I filled my little turtle mould with the glitter from this, thinking it might set up, but it didn't. It just became a gluggy mess, and I wasn't sure how I was going to get it out of the turtle mould. So I filled the turtle mould with black resin, and that took all the glitter out, and I ended up with 4 little turtles. I'm not sure if I'll make a little pin out of them or a magnet. I'm not sure what I'll do with those. This one was just a bit of extra black resin, so I turned that into a magnet. I made, out of the extra black resin, I think I made about 6 of these little bows and put a diamante on each one. This one I put silver and the little rhinestones and made it into a magnet. And this one, I did one. I must have mixed the resin too well into the pigment, because it only didn't set just in this little bit here. So I did it again and purposely didn't mix the resin with the pigment paste. It still set fairly well, except you can see how this is softer here than this. But on the front, this is what I wanted to show you here. If you dig, now you don't normally dig into your resin with a scalpel, but this is softer here. That is more brittle. And I'm not sure if I was to get right into that, whether it would be sort of liquidy, because the bit that's coming off on the scalpel is still paste. You can see that's paste. It's not powder from the resin. So that means that inside here is not set properly. And if you want to sell things, you can't sell them in that condition. That's why you must mix your resin and your pigment really well. Because if a child had that and dropped it and it broke, and there was this raw pigment paste in there, can you see how that's doing that? That would be quite dangerous. So I'll get rid of that. And you need to be really careful. Make sure you don't want to be wasting resin and make a beautiful piece only to find that look, see, it's just not setting. So always mix your resin with your pigment paste, no matter whether they're black or whatever colour. Just take the 3 to 4 minutes that it says to mix it, and mix it. Scrape the sides, scrape the bottom. Make sure you're doing it so that it mixes well, because you can see how that is quite powdery, and the more I dig, the more it comes out. Yeah, it's not mixed. So it's not mixed. So now I'm going to say goodbye, and if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.